welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
I'm very happy to be here.
First, let's jump into to congratulate you on winning Businesswoman of the Year. I remember I met you the day that you won, and it was, I think, in Capital Tour, or Rotterdam Capital Tour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true.
So congratulations on winning.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How does it feel to win Businesswoman of the Year?
It was wonderful. It was really great. Yeah, it's been a really roller coaster year, and I got so many positive and nice responses and a lot of publicity, and yeah, it was really great. And it's such a great acknowledgement for what I'm doing and for what I've been working on for 8 years now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really great. Yeah.
So it's like the winning feels so great after 8 years of doing it.
Yeah.
So what is it that you actually do?
What I do? I help organizations with strategy and innovation.
Yeah.
So as a facilitator, I help them to develop products, services, solutions, and business models. And I make teams and organizations more innovative so they can innovate more successfully themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you help them to innovate for themselves.
Yeah, and so it's really facilitating both the processes, but also a lot of learning and development, and developing innovation strategies so they can get better at it themselves.
Oh,
and
wow.
making them independent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is actually really nice to help them help themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so why entrepreneurship? Why did you jump into becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, it's actually something that I always wanted since I was a child, and I think it has to do with where I come from. My parents used to have companies for themselves too. They were entrepreneurs, and then it's something that you want to do too, and they've always stimulated it. So I studied business administration because there's not an education for entrepreneurship, at least not at the time. So that's where it came from. Yeah.
Wow.
So what I learned was it was not specifically for material reasons, what my parents, how they brought me up, but more that it's really cool to build something for yourself and to be independent and that kind of reasons. So that really inspired me to become an entrepreneur myself.
Wow, and not only any entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur in innovation.
Yeah.
Why is innovation, or if you can maybe define what is innovation to you, and then why innovation? Yeah,
well, innovation is about creativity, about renewal, and I think this is something that originates from my youth as well. I'm a musician, as a hobby. So especially when I was young, I used to have a band. I played the piano, the guitar, singing, songwriting. And actually this band was my first kind of entrepreneurship experience. It was a kind of a business because you have to develop your product, which are good songs. We made them ourselves. We had to produce CDs. We had to sell them. Wow. We had to get the gigs. You have to work together as a team. So I learned a lot from that, entrepreneurial-wise. But what I liked most about it was the creative part, about writing songs. And how do you get from nothing to something, as the concept of a band, but of course also the songs, and what happens in between, how can you get better at it, how do you create something original, and that's creativity, that's renewal, and that's innovation in the business world, of course.
Yeah.
So after I studied business administration, I also studied cultural studies, which is about the arts. So I wanted to learn more about that. And after that, I specialized more into innovation because I really wanted to bring that creativity into my business work. And that's innovation for me. Yeah.
Wow. So you can you found something that really close to in the business world, which is innovation closer to the music industry.
And that's something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And I really love innovation.
Yeah.
But in the end, for me, innovation is never a goal in itself. I don't innovate for the sake of innovation. For example, I'm not really into the stupid newest gadgets or something like that. But for me, it's really a means to make products and organizations more valuable, more smart, more sustainable.
Yeah.
It's really a way to make progress. And so innovation is really a means to make the world a little bit better. So that's what drives me. And that's why I think innovation is important.
Yeah.
So the mission of my company is to boost the innovation power of the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So that's why I do what I do, and I personally like it a lot.
Yeah. And interesting that you mentioned your company, which is the Spring company.
Yeah.
Maybe before we dive into what you do day to day, why did you use the name Spring?
Yeah, spring, well, it has two meanings. Of course, spring is the season and the season of renewal, which refers to innovation.
Yeah.
But spring also refers to resilience. And companies, they have to deal with a fast-changing world, and they really have to adapt and become resilient. So therefore the name Spring Company.
Wow,
yeah.
So
there's a double meaning.
Yeah. Resilient and innovation.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Exactly.
Now, if we to jump into what would be day to day job, like in your working in your company, what would be day to day activities? What would you do on a daily basis?
Yeah.
Like if I to follow you on your day, what would you do?
So I work with. I do really small pressure cooker type of sessions once in a while, but also longer innovation programs. But you always follow a similar pattern, in innovation. And what we usually tend to do is to jump into the ideation phase, generating ideas.
Yeah.
But if you want to do that in a good way and come up with the best ideas, it's really good to gather the right information up front. So, what is your market about? What are your clients' needs? What are their future needs? What are the drivers and the trends in your market?
Yeah.
How is it going to be changed? The needs. What are the upcoming technologies? And what technologies can we use to meet our clients' needs? So it's really important to get really deep insights into the market, into your clients, and all the trends and possibilities in order to come up with the good ideas. And after that, the brainstorming is just a small part of it, the generating ideas. And after that, you should be starting doing something, making something. And that's, of course, prototyping. Yeah. And that's a really important part of the innovation process. Yeah. And of course, you start thinking about the business case, it has to be viable. And then you really have to start to do live experiments, in the real life world. And do the validation part and implementation. So in general, that's the process that I always use in my work, whether it's in a real compressed version or in a longer one.
Okay, if I may ask you to put it into a more practical approach, if you can give an example of how if your clients recently or over the years that you can give. How did you apply the process of innovation on that particular problem, just to make it a bit clearer? Yeah,
so you could apply it in different ways. You could say, I would like to develop a new business model. Yeah. For instance, we have an old business model and we want to make it more in a digital, scalable way. Yeah. And then you follow the exact same process. Or you should say, we should develop totally different value propositions. We're an old business, and next to that we should develop some new business. Yeah. You can apply it to that way in that field. You could also apply it to innovate your processes. For instance, your primary process, you could become more sustainable, more efficient, like a smart industry. You could run autonomous operations, really make it more efficient and use smart technologies for that. So you could apply it in really different ways and angles. Yeah. This process.
Yeah. I love once you talked about the moon mission. Can you maybe elaborate on that?
Oh, the moonshot thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's what we talk about, and the moonshot mindset that you need for that. Yeah. What we talked about was that if you really want to boost innovation, you have to start somewhere in organizations. And you really have to think that people innovate for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
And the first one, because you have to. There's a sense of urgency because you have to adapt, you know, to a changing world. You know, your clients, they want new stuff, and the competition, they are changing constantly too. So you really have to adapt. So you just have to innovate. But for instance, now we are like in the economy is going well. People are really busy. There's a lot of work, and there's a lot of pressure on daily business. So why should you? Of course, there is a sense of urgency, but people don't experience it that way. They don't feel it because everything is going well. Then you should tap into another driver for innovation, and that it's not because you have to, but because you want to. Because you have an ambition, because you want to excel, because you want to be the best in class, because you want to solve, I don't know, which social issue, whatever. And in that field, you can really use the moonshot thinking, which is setting really high, ambitious goals. And it's originated from the 60s. John F. Kennedy had the literal moonshot ambition to get a man on the moon before the end of the decennium. Not because it was easy, but just because it was hard. But because it was really ambitious, that unlocked a lot of energy and creativity within NASA and within all the suppliers and scientists, and they managed. So setting these goals really helps you to not only set a momentum, but also to come up with more radical ideas. If you ask people to come up with ideas to make something 10% cheaper, they will come up with nice ideas that could help you save some percentages. If you ask people, could you do it for half of the money? Or even 20% of the money, then you really have to start thinking differently. So I use that a lot in my innovation processes. If people are looking for more radical innovation, if that's what it's a choice. If you're looking for that, use that moonshot thinking, because the type of questions that you ask yourself or the people around you and your team is, it's really going to determine, the outcome. So upfront, asking the right questions, that's something really important and something that you can use.
One other question that I wanted to ask you is, what is the process that you take? Like, if process for you to brainstorm, what do you do?
Well, actually, again, it's gathering the right information, you know, and get the data, get the insights from customers, what they want, scout for all the technological options available, because that makes it easier to come up with the ideas. So that's what we also do in a brainstorm session. So I ask people to prepare themselves, especially if you have limited time, you know, to gather the information up front so you can have a well-informed brainstorm and discussion together.
Now you found everything. What is the process for you to find the solution for the problem? Do you, I remember once you said that you sometimes cannot just sit on the computer and just find the solution, that you need sometimes a sort of a movement or some other way that you not necessarily, of course it's subjective to each problem.
Of course. But you have to find out what works for you. You know, it's subjective. And for me personally, I cannot be creative behind my laptop because it's good to send emails and to write stuff, but really to come up with good ideas, I need to get away from it. I need to have a walk, go cycling, a hobby of mine. I need to draw something on a wall. I need to talk with other people, and then it just comes up. So you really have to find out, because being productive, that's what you do on your laptop, is a really different thinking mode than being innovative. So you really have to find the right circumstances for yourself to really boost it and to come up with the right ideas for yourself.
Which is I think it's because if you're not behind your laptop, it's perceived that you're not working hard or you're not being productive or you're not finding the right solutions, because we always look at solutions behind our computer.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a misconception.
Yeah.
I think it's really, and maybe for other people it just works and they can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really good to find out, okay, at what moment of time were you most creative? When did you come up with your last great idea? Where were you? What were you doing? Who were you with? And just this way you can find out what's ideal for you.
Wow. I love
That's how
that.
I do it. Yeah.
And this is a question I just thought about, is do you think innovation could not be applied or you can never apply innovation to everything? Or is innovation can be applied to certain areas and that's it? Or can it be applied to everything?
No. What are you referring to? What do you mean?
Like for example, a lot of people feel like innovation is just a new word.
Yeah.
That's, it's just slap innovation somewhere and just that will be it. But some people say, I don't need innovation. I am into the food industry, for example. I don't need to have any sort of food, sell it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Do you think that innovation can be applied to everything, like food industry, agriculture, in any way? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you think it's not relevant, somebody else might do it, and you could be out of business, because someone else finds a way to do it in a better way or smarter way or tap into unmet needs that nobody ever thought of.
Yeah.
So I think it's and again, innovation is not a goal in itself.
Yeah.
But it's just a way to be more valuable. And if that's what you want to do, if you want to be valuable to society, to your clients, then you constantly have to rethink.
Exactly.
Is what I'm doing the best way,
Yeah. For me, I feel innovation is also growth, that you always want to grow, that you always want to keep on growing to do what you're doing. Otherwise, if you stop growing, which means you're gonna die. In the sense that innovation is important in a way that you always need to keep innovating. Otherwise you'll be left behind.
And growing is like doing the same stuff but in a larger volume.
Oh.
Yeah. And innovation is doing something different or better. And you get different degrees of innovation, of course. You could innovate really incrementally, doing making a new version of your product, doing things a little bit smarter, more efficient. Or at the other side of the spectrum, there's really disruptive innovation, and that is innovation that has a really big impact on an industry or on the world. It's really changing everything that you do.
Yeah.
And it's up to you, what you think is necessary for your business. Or what is your ambition? Disruption is a choice.
Yeah,
and not everybody can disrupt an industry. So it's all dependent on the context.
Yeah, so it's like subjective on what we.
Yeah, and of course, if you really want to be disruptive, do you have the resources to do it? So it's really context dependent.
Oh wow! Yeah. How did you start? With your spring
how I started? Well, after the studies, I worked for some other companies, and then I started in 2011. And to be honest, I wasn't really well prepared because I was really busy at that time to finish another program I was doing. And then all of a sudden it was January 1st and I had to start. And of course you have some doubts, is this what I'm going to do? But I had a launching customer. She was a female entrepreneur. She had a big company. And, that really gave me the support. Okay, let's do it and see how it works out. And she was really into, female entrepreneurship, and she also hired a lot of female employees. So she really wanted to support me, and she said, well, I'm your launching customer, you're going to do the projects, but you need cash now, of course.
Yeah.
You need to live. So she said, I will give you a loan, and you will do the products, and you can pay me back projects, and then you can pay me back the loan. And I really hate debt, I never have it actually. But I thought, okay, this time let's do it, because this way I'm going to commit her, to do the projects and together. So I said, okay, let's going to do the loan. And then in a couple of months, she went bankrupt, the company, and I was kind of like, oh my God. And I did a project, I think one, but not all of them, you know, and not enough to pay back the loan. So I was kind of like, oh no, what is happening? So there you are. And then, I already started, you know? And once I put my teeth into something, I really want to finish it. And I don't know what happened, but just in a couple of months, it's already a part of your identity, being an entrepreneur. And I thought, oh well, no, I'm just gonna continue and keep working, and that's where I am.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, I really love the fire that you have. It's just refreshing to see it in so many levels. On so many levels, like to see, like you have this passion, and if you start something, you go in to finish it. And I don't know. I feel inspired when I see that in you. It makes me feel like I want to be exactly like that. Bite on something, never let it go until you're done with it.
Exactly. That's it. And I think it's for me it's quite natural. I think it's a little bit of a combination of nature and nurture. I think.
Nature and nurture. Yeah,
I think of both of the. You can never tell, of course. How can you check my psyche? But I think, you know, the way I was raised, you know, and have an example of parents that are entrepreneurs, I think it really helped because, for instance, when I had this band and I was playing, we started with 4 girls. My sister, she was playing the drums, and we had a singer, a bass player, and I was playing the guitar, and I was doing some backing vocals. And at one moment in time, the other 2 girls, they decided to quit. So the bass player and the singer, and we had a gig planned, and it was just me and my sister. So I said, okay, we have to cancel this. You know, we cannot do it with just the 2 of us, and I'm not even the singer. And then my father said, oh no, you're just gonna do this, you know, just go there, just the 2 of you, you are going to sing, and just do it whatever, without the bass player. And I was going, no, that's silly, you know, it will look stupid, it will sound horrible. And then he said, okay, if you will do it, I will buy you a new guitar. And I said, okay, let's do it. So we didn't tell the venue that we split up, so we just went there on the day that we had to play. And we said, oh, today our bass player and our singer left, you know, it's just the 2 of us. And he was going like, oh, what the fuck is this? and then the bass player from the main act, he said, oh, I will play with the bass with you. Yeah. So that's where we were, the 3 of us improvising at the same time. Probably it sounded horrible. But that day, our new bass player was in the audience, you know, he saw us player, and it gave us, you know, we were a new band, and we went together. Yeah, we continued as with a 3-person band. Yeah. And I got this guitar, which was a really beautiful Epiphone Riviera cherry jazz guitar. But it's, you know, but the most important thing is what I learned from that is just continue, whatever happens, and it may not be perfect, you know, you may not get it right at the first time, but you just have to do it. Yeah, and then the moral of the story, I feel like, if you go on and you found somebody else who like the bass were in the audience, so like I feel it could apply in any, if you keep going, something else will something will happen. Yeah, you know,
exactly. Something will give.
Yeah, and it's just if you put a lot of energy into something and all your knowledge and all your passion and all your time and all your devotion, then something will get out. Yeah. And it might be different from what you ever expected, but there has to be an output, you know. Of course, you have to think and do everything smart and clever, but it helps. It really helps. You got that kind of from your father, which I think he's a really smart man for doing something like this, to plant the seed in you at that age. It's something really beautiful. Yeah, exactly, and I'm really thankful for that, because he already like I told you, this band, it's like not a big company or something, but for a young age to learn all the aspects, you know, of leading a team, working together, being commercial, being on stage, you know, telling your story. You know, there were a lot of other bands, you know, how you're going to compete. And, you know, I think, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot.
Do you think because you used to be a musician or in a band that helped you, because now I know that you're doing a lot of speeches. Did it help you, or do you still get nervous before you go on the stage or give a speech?
Yeah, well, I think because I started this at a young age, it helps, because if you start doing this when you're 40 or 50, you know, you could get scared, you know. I think it's like in the top 3 fears of people, you know, public speaking, doing that. But still, so I like it a lot, and I'm used to it. But still, there's always like this healthy kind of tension, you know, that you feel like maybe a little bit nervous. But that's also a good thing, you know, because it really makes you perform and do your best and get most out of it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. Even most big singers and speakers, they have it. So I think it's a good thing.
To be nervous before.
A little bit nervous. I think that's good. I think and it's natural. And in spite of that, just do it. You know, don't let it stop you.
In talking about don't let it stop you, what keeps you going? What keeps you always going after what you want? One thing after other. One thing after other. What keeps you keep going?
I think it's my personal growth and development. I love to learn, you know. I like to get better at stuff, you know. If I did an innovation session or a keynote or a workshop in one way, the next one has to be better, has to be new, you know, because I serve a lot of different clients, so it could be corporates, SMEs, startups, it could be public, it could be private, in different kind of sectors, which requires a lot of me because I have to tap into different types of industries and knowledge. But I really love it, you know, and I'm really hungry for knowledge and learning. So I think, that's something that keeps me keeps me going.
I get it. Where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now? What the future looks like for you?
Businesswoman of the Netherlands. I think that would be the next one. That would be next one. That would be great, of course. But I'm working on some new value propositions for myself. I want to write a book or a couple of articles. That's what I want to do, and I want to take place in some supervisory boards of bigger organizations because, and I want to give innovation a place there. Nice. So innovation, you know, should be, you know, on every level of the organization and not only, you know, on employee level or CEO level. That's really important, but also, you know, in the supervisory boards. I think that's an important one because they should not be looking backwards, but also looking to the future, and that's really what I would like to do. As well.
I would love to see that.
I
really love to see that.
Me too.
How do you find Rotterdam? How did you, maybe in the sense like to talk about starting your own business here, and what do you love about it?
I grew up in the south of the Netherlands, in the village near Eindhoven, and I studied somewhere else. And I came to Rotterdam 10 years ago, and that was for a job. And in the beginning I thought, Rotterdam, nice, it could be anywhere else, but then I really got to know the city, got to know people here, and then I really started loving it. It doesn't happen the first day because the city doesn't love you back automatically, you know. So you really have to get to know the place here and get to know the people. And then 8 years ago I started my company, and then your network becomes even bigger. A lot of friends here, and I really like doing business here because I really like the mentality. It's really down to earth. And I really love that because I will always prefer, the content to form or other things. And I really like that about Rotterdam. I really like the city. And of course, I saw it changing, It's so different than 10 years ago. And I also came to realize that it just takes 70, 80 years to rebuild a city, after war. It just takes a while because you see in other cities you don't see the big differences that are happening here. We're still building it,
Yeah.
And I think it's really beautiful to witness it, to see it and to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And also therefore I'm really proud to be, Rotterdam Business Woman of the Year, especially in this city. I'm really proud of it. Yeah.
Because it keeps on growing, and I can for sure you have seen the changes over the 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like where before I have a friend who said that she moved from Amsterdam here, and her friends used to tell her, that's back in 2008 or something.
Yeah.
They used to tell her,
why?
Why Rotterdam of all places? And now they are moving.
Yeah, it's the other way around. It's the other way around.
Yeah. And I'm telling her, ask them, why are you moving now? But where do you like to go out here?
Where do I would like to go out?
For food or hang out?
A lot of places. A lot of places. Where do I go? I like to drink beers at the Phoenix Food Factory outside in the summer, or go to the Bit or different places, or have a nice wine at Verward, at the Hoogstraat, and of course having dinner in different places. Yeah.
Wow, so you don't have one favorite place?
No, I don't. It's a lot. The diversity is nice, of course, and it depends on the evening that you wanna have. Yeah.
What would be your advice for young and upcoming entrepreneur, businesswomen, men or women, youngsters who are starting into the business world?
Yeah. Well, it might. Maybe it sounds cliche. I don't know, but I think the most important one is don't be afraid and just do it and just go for it, because that's the most important one. Just do it and learn and fail and try again and find, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, because it's always a great experience to learn and to try and do different stuff and just go for it.
It's actually beautiful. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Just go for it.
Go follow your dream.
Yeah.
And that mic in front of you.
Yeah.
If we say hypothetically, it can be broadcast to each and every person on this planet, what would be your message?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people think that innovation is like a big black box or mystical talent that you have.
Yeah.
But I really believe that it's not true. It's like creativity and innovation. Some people are more good at it than others.
Yeah.
It's just like being good at languages or math or something. Yeah, we all have our preferences.
Yeah.
But you can learn. It's also a process with methodologies, with techniques that you can just learn. And if I train people in innovation or design thinking, they a lot of times they're really surprised. Oh, this is the way how to do it. I thought I could never do it, and now even I can do it. And I think that would be my message. Just do it and try it out. And
I like it. I really love it. So it's something you can also learn.
Yeah.
You
can get better at it, of course. Yeah, you do. The problem is that it's not in our education system, so people never learn.
Yeah.
At school.
That's
true. And now you got these creative high schools, and they're working on it. Also on this 21st century skills concept, but it used to never be there. It was always about reproduction of knowledge and applying it to cases, and not coming up with your own knowledge and your own ideas.
Yeah.
And then people are educated, and once they enter the business world or whatever they do, suddenly creativity and innovation is required, and they never learn. They were never given the tools to do it.
Yeah, you're right.
And the techniques. So that's a shame.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They get stuck.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they don't know what to do with it because they never learned it.
Yeah, exactly. So if you would start at an early age doing it, you know, it could make a difference, of course. But you can learn. That's my message. That's my message.
Wow.
You can get better at it and do it.
It's really beautiful. As we are coming to an end,
yeah,
what would be your call to action? Anything that you want to share? Anything you want to?
Yes, my new website will be launched
nice.
soon. So it's springcompany.com.
Okay.
And you can also follow me on LinkedIn. It's Janne Vereijken. Just follow me, and I very often I post news on things that I'm doing and sharing knowledge. So those are the main challenge. But you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram, of course.
Okay.
But I think those are the most important sources.
So yeah. Communication.
Yeah.
Janne, you have no idea how this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being part of this podcast.
You're welcome.
Have all the success for your upcoming projects, and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.